maybe someone's watching this show and still doesn't fully understand what mining is. Maybe they're just, here for Bitcoin. They don't know everything. And as you see on the screen, guys, and for those in spaces, I just have the mining conference Twitter over here. You guys can check it out. It's at mining conference. But Scott, so I got a few questions over here. Like I said in the beginning, I'm going to preface this. I'm just thinking about like someone like my mom or my sister. I know they watch this show now, and I know that they don't know what mining is in particular. They know it's probably a part of Bitcoin. So in simplest terms, what is Bitcoin mining and how does it work?
Yeah. So what is Bitcoin mining? What I usually tell people is banks use uh, servers, computers, to verify whether or not you have money in your bank account, and they basically give you permission to send money to people. Um, with Bitcoin mining, all these servers, there's not a need for just one centralized server. Um, basically the transactions in digital currency can be made because of these computers that are verifying whether or not you have the funds in your account, right? So it's just a different way of doing banking. It's instead of getting permission to hold your money and to send money, you're actually pushing the money out, and it's because of these specialized computers called Bitcoin miners that it's possible. So that's what really makes the blockchain run. So yeah, why trust a bank that's centralized that has your money that could potentially stop you from having access to your money? Maybe if their servers go down, or if they choose to say that you're not a good person. Yeah, they can do things with their computers that can stop you from being able to get your digital money out. But with Bitcoin mining, it's basically the very opposite. So instead of these centralized servers, you have these computers all around the world that are built just for one thing, to mine Bitcoin and to verify transactions. And those are spread all around the world, and anybody can plug them in. So instead of somebody with large infrastructure like a bank having all the servers and having all the control, um, it basically puts it into the hands of the people. So anyone can go out and buy a Bitcoin mining computer called an ASIC Bitcoin miner, and you could plug it in, and you could basically start to make your own Bitcoin, and you can mine your own Bitcoin into your own wallet if you want. And then also when that thing is plugged in, basically it's just helping to verify transactions and send data back and forth to the rest of the world. So yeah, I think in a nutshell, if that is an easy enough way to understand it, that's really what Bitcoin mining is.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, the next one we kind of covered it in the news, but I think we got sometimes gotta continue to beat the nails in the head. So is Bitcoin mining wasteful, or is Bitcoin mining a benefit to our energy grids?
Yeah, that's a good question. Is it wasteful? Um, I guess technically, all it's doing is just trying to guess a number. So there is a hell of a lot of power going towards nothing other than just guessing a number. Um, but the amount of power it uses right now, it pales in comparison to other industries. One industry obviously that it's compared to a lot is mining, gold mining. Uh, so in order to have a currency based on the gold standard, which the U.S. dollar used to be, there's a lot of energy put forth towards that. There's a lot of waste that goes into that. Um, so I think really for any industry, for any technology, that could be said. How useful is this? Um, it really depends on your viewpoint, and I don't know if I really necessarily have the right answer. There's other people that talk about this better than I can, like Nick Carter, for example. He recently had a rebuttal or whatever it was, a response to the White House, talking about what Bitcoin is and how it isn't wasteful and how it is useful. But yeah, I'd say really, just like they say, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So that's a question that needs to be answered by everybody individually. But in my personal opinion, it's not a waste. It's definitely more useful, doing something more useful than many other currencies right now, including the U.S. dollar.
Yeah, I'm gonna double down and say the best money in the world should use more energy, so no one can mess with our money. Use more energy. Energy is good. Energy
Yeah,
is not bad. Convince me otherwise.
the more energy Bitcoin uses, the stronger it's going to get, right? I mean that's what it comes down to. The machines that power the Bitcoin network are only getting more and more efficient, so they're actually wasting less energy every year that goes on. Every time a manufacturer comes out with a more powerful and more efficient chip, um, the less energy technically Bitcoin uses. So, that being said, with Moore's law, I don't know how that's going to work out in the future, but let's see innovation. Let's see, for example, the United States invest more money into semiconductor industry so that more companies can develop more efficient SHA-256 processing chips, so that Bitcoin can use less energy. But yeah, so it could be said either way. Let's use more energy to mine Bitcoin so that it becomes more secure. Because yeah, the more energy it's using, the more Bitcoin miners there are. And yeah, so but it goes the other way as well. Let's innovate on technology so that we can make Bitcoin mining use even less energy in the future.
Beautiful. I love it. Okay, we kind of covered this in the news section, but if you are new to Bitcoin, if you're thinking about getting into Bitcoin, we told them that they should go to the Bitcoin or the mining conference. But like, what would be your advice to someone that is looking to get into Bitcoin mining? Maybe where should they start? I don't know. Maybe some resources, or just maybe just simply like buy an S9 and plug it in at your house. Like what's your recommendation for people that are looking into getting into Bitcoin mining?
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I think hands-on learning is definitely the best. Like you said, just buy an S9, plug it in, see what it does. Figure out how to create a Bitcoin wallet, because you want to be mining to a pool, and then from the pool into a wallet. Yeah, those are all great things to do. But yeah, other than going to a physical conference that might take money or airline ticket, there's other things you could do. There's actually this thing called Pleb Minor Month that's taking place right now. I think September is for pleb mining. You can check it out on Twitter. But yeah, I think there's a lot of Telegram groups out there, where you can get some really good information. I have a whole community that I've built over the years, since basically 2017 when I first got into this. I created a Telegram group called ASIC Miner Discussion. I created one called Miner Repair Chat. Um, one about mining farms and colocation, miner hosting, crypto mining containers. So you just go to Telegram and look for all these. These are all just public Telegram groups. Immersion cooling technology. You can learn all about mining pools at the pool party is another Telegram group. But yeah, so you can actually just go to scottofford.com, SCOTTOFFORD.com, and on there is a link to all these Telegram groups, under the menu item called Mining Community. So that's a great place to learn. That's really where I started out. Created a Telegram account and just started joining all these groups, and then I started creating more groups. But yeah, Twitter, Telegram, Discord. There's a lot of places to go to learn. But
So
my favorite is the mining conference.
and by the way, guys, you could take advantage of the promo code Simply Bitcoin. You get a huge discount on your tickets.
Got it right
Anyway,
here for you, Nico.
there you go. Thanks, Opti. But so I have one more question for you, Scott, and we get this all the time, right? Is do you need to be wealthy to start mining, right? Because I think that's one of the conceptions that people have in their heads, like, wow, this stuff is so expensive. So, what are your thoughts on this? When you're just starting out, could you build up a career? Could you build up your dreams if you have very little money when it comes to Bitcoin mining?
Yeah, that's a good question. You don't need to be wealthy, but I'd have to say everybody's definition of wealth is different. But some people get tricked into doing cloud mining. It's where you can go and you could buy hash power. That's very rarely ever profitable. So you got to be careful with cloud mining scams. Um, but no, you could buy maybe a starter miner, something that's a little bit less energy efficient, that mines a little bit less Bitcoin. You could plug it in and you can start making Bitcoin. Um, Whether or not that miner is actually going to be profitable in the short term is a question you have to consider. Most people that are mining are doing it because of the potential future value that Bitcoin will have for them, not necessarily immediately. So short term, yeah, you got to find a way to pay your power bill because these things consume electricity. I plugged a few miners in my basement. My electricity bill went from like $100 a month to $600 a month. Um, I plugged even more in my warehouse, and the electricity bill went from like $200 a month to $3,000 a month. So you got to be careful there. You always got to be able to pay your power, and sometimes you have to sell your Bitcoin in order to fund your Bitcoin mining, project. But uh, most people try not to. So if you can find a way to subsidize your mining by not having to sell your Bitcoin every month in order to pay your power bill, that's the idea. But one way that you can definitely use less of your US dollars to pay your power bill or use less of your Bitcoin to pay your power bill is to lower your power bill. And the way to do that usually is to maybe co-locate your miners in a miner hosting facility, right? So you can actually go to a company who provides a service that they will take these miners, these computers, and plug them in for you in their own facility where they have cheaper power. Now there's usually a fee that goes into that. So let's say if their power is 4 cents per kilowatt hour, they might charge you 6 cents or 8 cents per kilowatt hour just because they have to make some money in order to provide that service to you. But usually there's a company out there or somebody else that can get a miner up and running for cheaper than you can do it yourself in your own home. So that's just something to consider. Yeah, you don't have to be rich. Anybody can start doing this. It just depends where you want to get in and uh, how quickly you want to scale it. And if you're the type of person that can go out there and find people that have money to pool in, you could pool your resources and do it together with other plebs. Yeah, so I'd say it's not difficult to get into, and it's very easy to learn just by trial and error, buying one of these cheap ones, getting it plugged in, and figuring it out for yourself.
Awesome. All right, Opti, let's get to the meme review.